What's up, YouTube? SaneZ3 here to give you guys a character analysis. You guys see the title, you guys are going like, what the fuck, did you already do this? A couple things that I want to say before I start this though. So I went back and I rewatched a couple of my vids, and I specifically went back and rewatched my Vegeta and Goku character analysis, and particularly the Vegeta one was just terrible. Okay, there was static in it. I guess the presentation of the video. I mean, even though I still have fucking yellow lighting here, I can clearly see it. But just the presentation of it, I don't think was very good, and the static was there, and then there were a lot of like annotations and stuff also. So what I decided to do was that I decided to delete that and re-record this because and there was like some false information in there as well. So I'm gonna do that for especially Vegeta, but I'll probably do that for Goku also. I don't know yet. I actually might record that after I do this video. I'm not sure, but and maybe Piccolo. I'll have to check that later. But yeah, I'm re-recording my one for Vegeta, just because I want to give you guys the best Vegeta character analysis vid that I can make, and I don't think I'm gonna edit shit in here. I mean, I'll probably just put links or something in the description box below. But yeah. One other thing. This should not put a damper on other character analyses vids that I have planned out. I've already recorded. I said that I would be doing people outside of DBZ, and I actually have 2 of those planned out. Well, no, not planned out. Sorry, I have a lot planned out, but I actually have like bunches of characters like written up and stuff. But I actually have 2 of those about to be recorded soon. So look out for that on the way. So yeah, I think I have a lot of like character analysis stuff coming out. I think I said the opposite shit in like one of my live streams, but yeah, I have a lot of character analysis coming out. So I'm gonna do this re-recording for Vegeta, and then yeah, we'll get to Yu Yu Hakusho and Fist of the North Star characters. So let me just bring up my points over here. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about Vegeta. My second favorite character of all time. He's tied with Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star. The main character of Fist of the North Star is my second favorite character of all time, at least in an anime and a manga. But actually, before the Majin Buu arc, Vegeta actually wasn't one of my favorite characters. He was probably my top 5, but I always preferred Goku to him because just to me, no one's better than Goku. Okay, for me, but at least as far as other characters in Dragon Ball Z go, I preferred Piccolo to Vegeta, I preferred Gohan to Vegeta, and I preferred Future Trunks to Vegeta. So yeah, and I guess maybe Kami, or from time to time, I guess like an Android, like Android 17 or 18 or 16 or someone like that, they might bump themselves ahead of Vegeta. But Vegeta for me really became my second favorite character in the Majin Buu arc. And I'll talk about that towards the end of this video because that's the last arc in the series. But that's besides the point. Vegeta to me is without a doubt one of the best anti-heroes that I've ever seen. He's just he's incredibly selfish, he's incredibly independent, headstrong, and he's up there with some of the best anti-heroes that I've seen in anime and manga, specifically the Skull Kid. Hiei is another one. Tao Ren from Shaman King, he's a good one. A personal favorite of mine, Shuda from Rave Master. So there's like a lot of like good anti-heroes that I've seen in anime and manga, but Vegeta for me definitely takes the cake. Definitely the best one that I've seen. Guts is another one, and yeah, Vegeta for me is like one of the best ones that I've seen, and if not the best. So when we're introduced to Vegeta, he's a villain. He is a Saiyan, and typical of Saiyans and their tendency to not care for others. In his own admission to Dodoria when he fights him, he actually says that he doesn't care about his parents, he doesn't care about his race, nor does he care about his planet, right? And I'll sort of elaborate on this, probably within like the next 5 minutes or so. But as a kid, we sort of see that he sort of loved his dad, as we actually see on his deathbed on Namek. So as a kid, you can sort of like infer that he always had like this somewhat loving relationship with his dad, even though they were both Saiyans. It could be due to the fact that they were both like pretty strong. They were like more. They were members of the higher echelon of the Saiyan classes, right? So definitely nobility might have something to do with that. Royal blood might have something to do with that. Battle strength and power in general probably has something to do with that, because let's not forget, Vegeta actually has a brother named Tarbo, and Tarbo was actually sent to another star because he was so weak, or planet or star, whichever one. But so yeah, definitely nobility and strength and those sort of things probably fostered his relationship with his dad. And he also had a relationship with Frieza. One thing I always say when I talk about the Bardock special is that it doesn't help if you watch the English version. That's not to say I don't like the English voices, because in my opinion, I do like Bardock's, specifically his voice and his sound and stuff like that in the dub more than I do in the sub. I mean, even though I love Masako Nozawa and I think she plays an excellent Goku, one of the best Gokus for sure. I mean, don't let anybody else fool you. But specifically her Bardock and her Churros, she's shown like that voice range to play like very gritty, like tough characters, right? But Sunny Straight as Bardock is just like amazing. But I don't want to like sidetrack from Vegeta. So yeah, if you guys really want to see Vegeta's relationship with Frieza as a kid, I would say watch the Japanese version of the Bardock special, because that's the best way to watch it. And you really see that Vegeta was actually respectful towards Frieza. See, this is actually one of the misconceptions about Vegeta's character, because many people assume that he hated Frieza from the start. This is sort of true. He did hate Frieza from a somewhat young age, but when he was a kid, he always treated Frieza with respect. He always called him Frieza-sama, Frieza-san, and there's like many different ways to interpret that. Maybe he really does hate Frieza, and he's just using that as a facade, which could be true. He actually admits to something of this nature later in the Namek arc when he says that he always pretended to be loyal to Frieza so that he could overthrow him. We find out what the reasons are later. But we actually see that as a kid, he's very respectful towards Frieza, that he always minds his manners around him, and that he's just very, very polite and stuff to Frieza when he's a kid. So that's his childhood. But and of course, as a kid, he's because he's a Saiyan, he is privy to a lot of like training methods, and he just fights a lot and partakes in a lot of carnage and bloodshed and conquering and killing and that sort of thing, because he's a Saiyan and that's what Saiyans do. But in the Saiyan Saga, which is obviously the first arc in the series, he's introduced as a villain. And if you watch his final fight with Goku and Krillin and Gohan and even Yajirobe, he's a very tough and durable character. I mean, that final fight just really highlights his stamina. He's just very tough, He's just a very tough character. And he's ruthless. And like I said before, he has that typical Saiyan trait of not caring for others. Like when when Nappa suggests that he brings back Raditz, he actually says, no, he's too weak, I don't care for him. And this whole weakness thing is something that is alluded to many times in Dragon Ball Z, specifically in the Japanese version, which is sometimes why I prefer that version over the English one, because like I said, I don't think the English version of DBZ is exactly the best representation of the series. And you can really see that with the Bardock special, but that's a whole another case. But yeah, I mean, he's just ruthless, and he just kills like whoever who he deems not strong enough, like he does with Nappa. He kills him because he lost to Goku. He kills the Cyberman because because it lost to Tien. So he has like this ruthless streak to him. And he's a very high believer in nobility and royalty, and he really believes strength is everything. And you can really see this in his fight with Goku, because he's always deriding or belittling Goku that he's a low-class soldier, he is a commoner, and he is a prince, he is royal blood, he is high class, he is the upper echelon of all Saiyans, right? So he's a very high believer in sort of like social status and social class and that sort of stuff when it comes to Saiyans. And of course, he's beaten, and for the first time his pride is like really like hurt. Well, not for the first time, because Frieza in a sense actually hurt his pride because he stole his dignity. But Goku, who's nothing more than a low-class soldier, has really hurt him, and that's sort of like an insult to his pride. And of course, he does lose that fight thanks to the combined efforts of Goku and the other Z fighters. But when we get to the Namek arc, we see a more cunning side to him, and even though he was somewhat intelligent and stuff in the previous arc, in the Saiyan arc, like when he when he makes a what's the word I'm looking for, I forget what's the word I'm looking for, when he makes a gotta think of the word an intelligent retreat, I guess. I don't know. I'm looking for a word besides intelligent, but I can't think of it. But he showcases sides of intelligence to him, and we really see this in the Namek arc, because we see a more cunning side to him as he picks and chooses who he wants to attack in the Namek arc. I mean, basically, he's responsible for all of Frieza's henchmen's deaths. He killed Zarbon, he killed Dodoria, he killed Kui, he killed Apul, he killed all the Ginyu Force, except for Ginyu himself. Well, yeah, he didn't kill Ginyu, and he just, he shows like a sort of like guerrilla tactic fighter side to him when he just intentionally goes and targets specific people to fight and kill, right? And he's often using sneak attacks to do it, right? And and because of this, like I said before, he showcases intelligence and smarts. And I would actually say this is his second best arc as far as a character goes. But probably his most predominant feature in this arc is his obsession with the Super Saiyan legend. And really in this arc, he acts as the perfect foil to Goku, because he consistently tells Goku and constantly tells him that he's too kind-hearted. And we can really see Goku's kind-heartedness when he lets Raccoon and Berter live, but he really tells him that you need to become merciless and cold-hearted to become a Super Saiyan, right? And one thing about Vegeta's character that changed, so that's sort of like how he acts, pretty much as a foil to Goku's character, in as far as like a personality, art side goes. Yeah, I think that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, but he only learned about Planet Vegeta's explosion from Dodoria in this arc. At this point, his reason for trying to overthrow Frieza is because of his loss of dignity, right? But after the reason behind Vegeta's explosion is revealed, he slowly gains a very small amount of heart to him. And this small human side to him is actually revealed on his deathbed when Frieza kills him. He tells Goku to beat Frieza for the Saiyans that he killed. And this actually shows that even though Saiyans generally don't care for one another, as we saw with Raditz and Nappa and even Goku and Bardock in the Japanese version of the Bardock special, and Tarble and various other relationships between other Saiyans. This shows that even though Saiyans don't really care for one another, Vegeta actually had some sort of human side to him. He actually had a small sense of heart to him, as he realized that no race should have to cooperate with someone as evil as Frieza, only to be destroyed over nothing more than a rumor, because it's a threat to Frieza's power, and it's just a rumor. No one's actually ever seen it. And this death is actually all the more better, as Vegeta has no one left to rely on except Goku to beat Frieza. Because Goku is the one who showed him that royalty and nobility isn't always right. Might isn't always right, And on top of that, Goku's a low-class soldier. He's the spawn of a low-class soldier. And sort of like the icing on the cake for this death is that he comes to terms with the fact that he loved his dad somewhat. Like I said, when it comes to Saiyans and love, it's sort of complex to sort of like understand like exactly how they feel. But Goku at this point has beaten him in probably 9 out of 10 ways. He's stronger than he is. He's hurt his pride and dignity because he's a low-class soldier that's pretty much wounded him. And more so, he seems to be closer to the Super Saiyan form than even Vegeta himself is. And it's very interesting how Vegeta laughs at Frieza once he realizes Goku has, he's closer to becoming the Super Saiyan. Because despite his personal feelings towards him, it's very interesting, because it's kind of he's kind of satisfied that a Saiyan will beat Frieza, and even though that Saiyan is Goku, who is pretty much the complete opposite of him. And that's really the beginning of the relationship throughout the rest of the series. But now that we have an understanding of how Vegeta feels when it comes to Saiyans, there's one thing that I need to make clear. It's not Saiyan pride that he has. It's personal pride. He has small amounts of Saiyan pride, as he always calls himself the Prince of Saiyans. He's someone who loves his dad. There are hints that he does have some sense of Saiyan pride. But as we see, he doesn't necessarily care for his race at all. All the time. it's all personal pride. That whole Saiyan pride stuff only comes out when he's fighting, when he wants to fight alone without the help of anybody else. That's when it comes out. So, that's one thing that I just want to make clear. It's personal pride that drives Vegeta, not necessarily Saiyan pride. But then we get to the androids arc, and in mine and I guess most other people's opinions, this is probably his worst arc. Now, one thing I want to talk about Vegeta's character real quick is that over the entire course of Dragon Ball Z, the main crux of Vegeta's character is how to love someone. Really, Vegeta's entire character is about the quest for love, about how he forms relationships with other people, and how he comes to love and care about other people. This is really accentuated in this arc because of really only one relationship, because of his I guess you can say two, because of his two relationships with Trunks and with Bulma, right? So we see that when Trunks is introduced into the series, and we see that how he views his father and stuff, things like that, right? We see that Vegeta he doesn't really care for Trunks, okay? And this can be seen actually when Piccolo is fighting Gero, because when Piccolo is fighting Gero, we actually see Yajirobe, Bulma, and Trunks as a baby approaching that fight in this little I guess Capsule Corp ship. Gero takes advantage of this and throws a ki blast towards them, and the entire horizon just gets literally fucked, right? And Bulma and Baby Trunks are okay, so is Yajirobe comedically, but then Vegeta doesn't even try to help them. Future Trunks then immediately asks Vegeta, why did you not try to save them? And Vegeta then says, because he doesn't care about them. So at this point, he's still somewhat of he's slowly becoming an anti-hero, but he's like a mix between an anti-hero and a villain at this point, because he's pretty much an evil bastard. We actually learned that the reason why he became a Super Saiyan is because he was so single-mindedly driven to surpass Goku, and it was really the pure evil in his heart that made him transform into a Super Saiyan. So that's how he is at the start of the arc. But really, when he trains with Trunks in the hyperbolic time chamber, we actually see that he starts to love his family, and he forms somewhat of a tough love relationship with Trunks at that point, because remember, when Trunks gets killed by Cell towards the end of the arc, what does Vegeta do? He goes all berserk and rushes Cell like he doesn't care. Does it all because his son was dead. So really, this entire arc is about him trying to form a relationship with Trunks, and I guess Bulma, because he does eventually bang her and she gives birth. So yeah, it's really about love, and it's really about love and Vegeta and love in the androids arc. It is a main theme throughout the rest of the series. But now, before I talk about that, besides the whole love thing, though, he still seems to retain that princely aura, that sort of I'm the Prince of all Saiyans sort of thing, as when he transforms into a Super Saiyan against Android 19, he claims that the Prince of all Saiyans is back, and that he's retaken his throne and stuff. Interestingly, he's actually stronger than Goku for a good chunk of the arc. He's stronger than him as a Super Saiyan against 19. Even if Goku didn't have the heart virus, it's actually stated by Piccolo and Krillin that Vegeta was actually stronger. And so yeah, Vegeta was stronger than Goku at that point, even if he didn't have the heart virus. And then when Vegeta transforms into Super Vegeta, when he fights second form Cell, he's massively stronger than Goku at that point. So he's stronger than Goku for a good chunk of this arc, until of course Goku and Gohan come out of the hyperbolic time chamber, and they're full power Super Saiyans. So yeah, and one thing that I will mention about Vegeta's character at this point is that you would think his arrogance would die down a bit, as he was beaten by the Z Fighters in the Saiyan arc. Zarbon kicked his ass, Raccoon kicked his ass, Frieza kicked his ass, Android 18 kicked his ass, Cell in his perfect form kicked his ass. So a lot of people kicked his ass, but he's still sort of arrogant. I never quite got that about Vegeta's character. He always talks shit, but then gets beaten up in the end. I don't know. But I guess, that sort of makes him, a little more, likable, I guess. I don't know. In some way, it does. In a very like strange way, it does. But then we get to the Majin Buu arc, and to me, this is just the best his best arc by far. He's the best character in this arc. And I guess I'll talk about him at the start. At the start, you know, he has sort of like this tough love sort of thing with Trunks as he's training with him, and you know the whole infamous I'll take you to the amusement park if you land a hit on me, and you know stuff like that. But he actually genuinely seems, I guess, invested in Trunks' character and his strength, because he actually asks how strong is he compared to Goten, and he finally learns that Trunks is a little bit stronger because Trunks can fly, and because he's a year older, right? So then Vegeta actually comes up with like the sort of like goal, I guess, to actually further Trunks' strength, saying that we'll have to do something about that. So you know, you really see like the family side to him, and it's very like tough love, you know. It's sort of like, you know, very like adhering to like those concepts of tough love. But later in the arc, you know, he's famously transformed into Majin Vegeta. He tells Goku during their fight, you know, as you know, Majin Vegeta versus Goku. He tells him during their fight that he willfully allowed Babidi to control his heart because he felt that the feelings that he had recently felt, specifically love and warmth, and you know, just that feeling of, you know, having a family and becoming fond of Earth life. Those sort of like warm feelings, he felt like that had made him weak. So he allowed Babidi to enter his heart and to sort of remove those feelings to make him cold-hearted once again, just to fight Goku and become as strong as he is. Because he saw Goku's strength, and he realized that he was still in a higher league above him when he killed Yakan. And when he saw that, he made up his mind. It was like, no, I need to go back to how I was. I need to go back to how I once was before! You know, if you guys watch the dub, you guys know what that scene is. But when he knocks out Goku, when he goes to fight Fat Buu, we see that he still retains those feelings for his family, and those sort of like warm feelings for like love and that sort of stuff. Hence why he decides to fight and try to destroy Buu for the sake of the Earth. He actually becomes a fighter for the sake of the Earth, right? And he willfully sacrifices himself to kill Buu for Bulma, for Trunks, for Goku, and for the rest of the planet. And of course, you know, this is in vain. And because it is in vain, it actually gives Vegeta's character a sort of different tragic side. I mean, he's tragic before because of the whole thing with Frieza and his first death, right? But over here, you know, it's a different tragic side because it's in vain. And actually, this tragic side is played on more, since his previous talk with Piccolo before he does the deed. He actually learns that the pain and suffering he's caused during his life won't give him the fight with Goku that he's always wanted. And you know, that's his goal. Goku is his goal. Like, that's his obsession. But even though he learns that he can't get that fight, he decides to sacrifice himself anyway. And it's at this point that he's cast aside his selfish persona. So any selfish, evil, prideful, like those sort of things, all those sort of like vices to a person, they're all pretty much gone at this point. Well, for the most part, they're gone. I won't say they're completely gone, but for the most part, they're gone. And at that point, the anti-hero persona is completely vanished. And through his death, through his second death, Vegeta becomes a full-fledged hero. Not an anti-hero, just a full-fledged hero. When he comes back later in the arc, we see that his personal / Saiyan side comes up again. Because, you know, when he's brought back to Earth because of Fortune Teller Baba to try and fight Buu, you know, Goku uses his instant transmission to get to Vegeta so that he can fuse with him to fight Buu. But we see that his Saiyan side actually comes up once again because he yells at Goku for not taking their fight seriously, and for not showing Vegeta his Super Saiyan 3 form, which he hid when they were fighting. Because of this, he wants nothing to do with Goku and just pretty much, you know... Actually, I have the manga volume right here. Let's see. I'll bring it up. Sorry, this might take... This shouldn't take long. Yeah, so over here, you see that he actually gets angry at Goku for, like, mocking him and stuff, right? But, once Goku actually tells him that, Bulma and Trunks have been like eaten and absorbed and stuff. I don't know if you guys can see that, yeah. But once he tells him that that stuff has happened, Vegeta then gets rid of like his competitive side, his Saiyan side, and actually says that he's ready to fuse with Goku, and that to permanently to whoop Boo's ass. And that's something at that point we see his pride. He's completely gotten rid of that. He's willing to permanent, because remember, the Potara earrings are a permanent fusion. He's willing to permanently fuse with Goku, his rival, his archenemy, yada yada yada, the guy who's pretty much bested him in every way. All those things together, right? He's ready to fuse with him permanently to whoop Boo's ass just for his family. And that, for me, is personally a favorite moment of mine in the series because, well, it's my two favorite characters working together in the show, and that's my shit. So, yeah, that's him when he fuses with Goku and becomes the almighty powerful Vegeta. But as we see later, eventually Vegeto's fusion wears out, and Vegeta actually intentionally crushes the Potara, once again showing his Saiyan side. That comes up again. That's sort of like independent, individualistic side. He does this, and he actually crushes another Potara when they're offered to fuse again to fight Kid Buu. But once Goku tells them that because they're Saiyans, they need to fight alone, this and that. He actually tells Goku that you spoke like a true Saiyan, and then he crushes the Potara, indicating that he wants to fight like individually. So that sort of like Saiyan side to him actually comes out more pronounced towards the end of the arc. Do I have anything else to say? Oh yeah. Of course, and Vegeta also has that famous speech when he actually finally admits Goku is better than him. And the beautiful thing about this is that he actually comes to understand Goku as a person. Vegeta actually admits during this speech that he's generally fought for himself. He's fought for the pure thrill of fighting, for the killing, for the violence, bloodshed, this and that. And he thought, okay, and this is the important word, he thought Goku fought for others. He thought he did. He thought that Goku's supposed desire to constantly protect others is what drove Goku and what made him strong. But now he finally sees that Goku didn't fight because of that. He constantly fought to improve himself. Oh God, I can't even talk. To improve himself. It was that pure intention of Goku's that pushed Goku to be better than him. Not because he had people to protect, but because Goku liked challenging himself. That's what made Goku stronger than Vegeta and what made him better than Vegeta. And Vegeta, finally acknowledges this, gets over himself, and says Goku is the better man. Really, like, just an awesome moment, really, it really is. And then Vegeta at this point then acts as a true hero, as he stalls Kid Buu so that Goku as a Super Saiyan 3 can build up his strength. That plan ultimately fails, and then he comes up with the plan to kill Buu with the Spirit Bomb. So at this point, he's a full-fledged hero, and at the end of the series, when Goku flies off with Oop to train him, he actually calls Goku his friend and acknowledges him as one. So he's pretty much the closest thing to a best friend. Goku is pretty much the closest thing to a best friend that Vegeta probably has had. Maybe. The family side to him is played on a little more in Battle of Gods, as he gets mad when Bulma is slapped. And in my personal opinion, I thought this was just a terrible scene in the movie. Bulma was perfectly fine after Beerus slapped her, yet he gets more powerful than Goku through the power of love as a regular Super Saiyan / Super Saiyan 2. Doesn't fly with me. Just a bullshit moment. But we also see, that his pride is once again cast away also, as he fought for others, right? So, that side of him that was played upon in the Buu saga is once again brought out in this movie. But yeah, that's Vegeta's character. And thus, we have the transformation of a character from a villain to an anti-hero to a hero. And it's all about him trying to gain a soul and a heart, and about him trying to love someone. Or, not someone, people. And that's Vegeta's character, who is probably, 9 times out of 10, the most dynamic character in the series. So yeah, almost 30 minutes. That's my character analysis for Vegeta. probably going to be doing this for Goku, maybe for Piccolo. I don't know yet. I'm going to have to rewatch those and come to a conclusion. Don't worry about other characters though, because those who are getting recorded within the week, I'm on spring break. I got shit to release. So thank you guys for watching my Vegeta character analysis. My second favorite character of all time, at least in an anime and a manga, tied with Kenshiro. And what do you guys think about Vegeta? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Please rate my video, and peace.